Mums when you mention coronavirus. Mums when you mention head lice. So true. LeMayo, right? Very true. Lice is worse than COVID-19. Lice has never killed 500,000 people. Special thank you to my YouTube members Holly Miller and Sebastian Dorendorf, and to my patron McPuffin for supporting my channel and supporting my content. Thank you so much, guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. My camera's being a bit iffy today. It literally stopped recording like 5 seconds into when I started this video. Hopefully it will be fine. Today we're going to be looking at r/insaneparents again, because insane people is like my MO at this point. But before we begin, I have a new chair finally, so I can swivel without it constantly creaking. Isn't that amazing? Wow. And it's also more comfortable. Also, excuse my naked face. I just couldn't be bothered to do war paint today. I don't know why, just felt lazy. Anyway, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? What are you guys having for dinner? Rice, beans, and chicken. Had some salad on the side. Not sure about red, depends on what she's in the mood for. Lol, I cooked all this week rice and beans and tuna. Just a little side note, don't eat McDonald's hamburgers. I saw an article where they were saying that meat has human excrement and flesh. They also said that those plant-based company are associated with McDonald's and their meat products. I will just eat chicken and fish. Human flesh, huh? Come on, Mum. You will believe anything you see on the internet. Human excrement and flesh in McDonald's burgers. Right, that's how McDonald's became one of the biggest food chains in the world. Makes sense to me. Vegan companies are not associated with McDonald's and definitely don't have human flesh in them. Otherwise they wouldn't be vegan, would they? I'm just saying. So the context of this post is this person has like a rash on their arm. Take bath in Epsom salts. Epsom salts first. Baths are gross. Sorry, yes, scab. Come on, do Epsom salts now. Go get Epsom salts or stop, period. Tell my rash to stop? I googled it, apparently it's just from scratching too much. I don't like how it's spreading around my arm though. If you don't bathe in Epsom salts, don't speak to me. That's a jump. So this guy apparently said that he wanted to see a doctor and his mum was like, no, you have to use Epsom salts. I guess he's not gonna speak to her anymore because he's not gonna use Epsom salts. And that's apparently the line to be crossed with his mum. Good morning. Good night and sweet dreams, Mum. Love you too. I guess I have to kiss your ass, but you know for 2021, I've been looking out for you. I appreciate them photos you gave me, but I won't be on these drugs. I had somebody to help me other than you put me down and your damn mama put me down. So you know what, when I close my eyes, you better not be the main crying about your food, mama, cause if you love me, you will call me, cause my god, I'm not asking you to kiss my ass, my kid's mama asking for damn that third years that I be goddamn, I'm going to kiss your ass, you came out of me. Sorry, they had no punctuation, no full stops, no commas. That I had to do that whole thing in one breath. I don't know. I have no idea what they just tried to say. I have no clue. If you guys have any idea what this person was just trying to say here, let me know because I have no idea. Hurry up and answer. Blanca's mad and she needs you to get on. Baby, I didn't have service. We've been working on the truck and I didn't have service or Wi-Fi, baby. Yeah, okay. Listen, I don't know what that attitude is about, but I don't deserve it. I didn't say anything about your dad and have no reason to. I don't see or talk to anyone to even say anything about blank, and I've never said a bad word about your dad before now, so why would I start? I came to try to visit you guys today. I stayed there from 8 till almost 9:30 and no one showed up. I've never lied to you kids, and I would never lie to you guys. I've been there since day one raising you guys with no help and never complained or kept you from your father. So think about that, blank, you four have always meant more to me than anything in this world. I don't care about your dad. I care about you four, and that's what's best for you, and what's best for you. That's it. To be honest, you literally believe Tyler over me when I said I got touched by him. That's the main reason I cry about you every night. I love you, I really do, but I don't understand why Tyler is so more important than us. He clearly didn't like us when we lived there, so I don't know why he's acting like he did nothing wrong. I really don't feel like discussing it right now. The only reason we didn't show up was because we weren't told until 40 minutes before, and that's not enough time to get cleaned up and ready to go. There's 4 of us, and you haven't said anything bad about him. You told us he was on drugs, and even Mama said she would have kicked him out if he was. Whew. Okay, a lot to take apart here. But, you know what? I think it speaks for itself, this one. Need advice. Last week, my daughter was on the phone to her friends, and I heard her say she wanted to be a stripper and laugh. I took her phone away and I don't allow her to watch TV. Is this the right punishment? I'm also thinking of deleting all her social medias and not allowing her to see friends again because they're bad influences. Wow, right, so there's a lot to take apart here. So her daughter made a joke. Clearly, it was a joke. She even specified that there was a laugh after the statement. She punished her daughter for making a joke by removing her access to her phone, TV, and considering banning her from seeing her friends. What you are not creating is a good, obedient daughter that will make good choices in life. What you are creating is a good liar. If your daughter actually wants to be a stripper, nothing you are going to say or do will change that opinion, and in fact, by actively trying to turn her against the idea, you are more likely to cement her in that idea when she reaches adulthood. By removing her phone, her TV access, and her access to friends, what you are going to do is create a girl who is much better at hiding the fact that she has a phone, because she will get one. You are going to have a daughter that is much better at hiding the fact that she is watching TV or using the internet, and you're going to have a daughter that is much better at sneaking out when you don't know it and meeting her friends anyway. What you are not doing is creating a healthy environment for your daughter. What you are not doing is encouraging your daughter to make the right choices. Instead, you are discouraging her from having fun, and that is not going to be a good impact on her life. You are not a conservative. You voted the most liberal progressive person for president, and it'd not be Biden running the show. He has dementia, and Trump doesn't. He didn't even win legitimately. Your party took advantage of the virus, pretending it was such a threat. Then you get a president who put a munch of migrants on a bus with COVID into our country. That makes no sense. From a party who is supposedly more careful, WTF? We will see how many more stories we hear about illegals committing serious crimes. Oh, it gets harder and harder to read the more it goes on. Different rules for them. I would just like to say that just because you have a child doesn't mean your child has to follow your political beliefs. Your child is not just another vote for the same ballot as you. They are allowed to have their own opinions and vote for who they like, regardless of how you think you raised them. They are not a clone. They are not just another number for you to use in your votes. I'll read sob stories about migrants as long as you educate yourself on catch and release and read those stories too. I err on the side of protecting our own citizens first. Oh, and don't use Google as your search engine. It will pop up all the NYT and Washington Post stories. Notice that? Someday you and blank will see things differently, especially when you experience the unfairness of your tax system. Love you. Google doesn't specify specific posts first. It changes depending on what you as a person search. So if this person that she's talking about, the OP, does read NYT and Washington Post stories regularly, then yeah, they're gonna come up more often. Saying that the liberal Democrats are less careful about COVID than the Republicans is so ignorant it's laughable. Firstly, the amount of COVID cases in Mexico and that would be coming from Mexico to America are so minuscule compared to the amount of COVID cases in America. Trump throughout his entire presidency, scorned the dangers of COVID. A lot of his office also did so. Trump tried to refuse to wear masks as much as possible. Trump also really struggled to breathe on national TV after having got the virus. Biden wears a mask and is careful and advocates for using actual protection like masks and is pro-vax, saying that he is less responsible about this than Trump. What, have you not gone outside? Have you not turned on the TV? Like, even, I don't know, the news sites that supported Trump realized how bad Trump was being. Like, come on. Anyone know a good drill sergeant or a police officer that could make a video to teach these kids about the dangers of talking to strangers on the internet? Someone please help me get through to my daughter and stepdaughter, because nothing I say is working and the stepdaughter's own mother refuses to help. Lord help me. Get a stranger like a coworker they don't know to fake kidnap them. Obviously with your permission. Who are you, Kobe Person? I mean, trauma is not how you teach children. That's not how, Look, talking to strangers on the internet can be dangerous, yeah? However, if you teach your kids the responsible way to do so, you know, not sending pictures of themselves and not meeting any people in real life, it's not dangerous. Some of my best friends are people I met on Discord in servers. I haven't met them in real life, and I probably never will unless I fly over to their country. I am in no danger for talking to people on Discord. I'm in no danger for putting myself out here on YouTube. No one knows where I live. You might know the country and the kind of vague area, but no one knows where my house is. It's nuts that people can make great friends over the internet, and there are a lot of parents that want to actively fight against that. Yes, it can be dangerous, but only if your child is dumb enough to want to meet them in person. I, as a child, had lots of things like Xbox Live and stuff where I would play online with other people. Did I ever tell anybody where I lived or any information about me? No. At most, they might have known my first name if I'd played with them regularly. Like, kids are not dumb. And as for your stepdaughter, if their real life mum isn't going to put precautions on them because she isn't worried, then you should not impose on that because you are not their real mum. We're going to need an underground, unvaccinated dating site for our kids, you know. Yes, underground. Specifically 6 feet underground, where your children would be if you don't vaccinate them. The precedent set by this post weirds me out because she specifies for our kids. It's not like a dating site for unvaccinated adults that want to meet other unvaccinated adults. It's for our kids. If there is enough of a demographic for unvaccinated adults in the future that only want to date unvaccinated people, one of them will make it. You don't need to make a dating site for your kids and an underground dating site. Do you know how weird it makes you sound when you say you need an underground dating site for your child? My 27-year-old son isn't woke. Today he brings me to ask for my birth certificate so he can get his passport. I told him no, because then he'll have to get the injection to fly OS. I wasn't harsh, was I, in saying no? I love him dearly. So your son wants to fly across the seas. He wants to go abroad, maybe for holiday, maybe for work. I don't know what the context in this is. However, he is 27 years old. He is old enough to make his own choices. Even if you think that vaccines cause autism or cause brain damage or any of those things in children, your son is a fully formed 27-year-old adult. You have no right to say that he isn't allowed to do things. I'm just saying, it is extremely harsh of you to say no. And you clearly don't love him dearly because you are not letting him live his life how he wants to live it. Even if you think someone is making the wrong choices in life, if they are happy, that's what is important. Your happiness happiness should not affect their happiness. That is how to be a good parent. Adults don't eat foods that they don't like, but for some reason we're supposed to hold kids to a different standard. Just like when we tell them they can't have bad moods, off days, or decide who can hug and kiss them. People need to stop confusing spoiling children with respecting them as fellow people. So I'm supposed to respect my mouthy, disrespectful 15-year-old walking adolescent disaster? I've done this job for a while now. I've done YouTube for a couple of years now, and I have seen people miss points pretty bad, but I don't think I've ever seen someone miss a point this bad. Yes, you are supposed to respect your teenage child. That's the whole point. There are people out there with adolescent teenagers that they have good relationships with. There are parents that have teenagers that they get on with. I did with my parents because my parents respected my privacy, respected my space, and let me deal with what I was dealing with. Going through your teenage years is a really hard time because not only is so much changing with you as a person, suddenly you're feeling things you've never felt before and going through things you've never felt before, but you have this immense stress of school on your shoulders because your entire school years, everybody tells you that your entire future is banking on the next 2 years of your life. So yeah, maybe give your child a bit more room to be grumpy because they're an adolescent teenager. How are there parents that don't understand this? If you don't respect your teenager's boundaries, when your teenager becomes an adult, they're not going to want contact with you anymore. And this is really common. I know people who don't want to spend time with their parents anymore because their parents were overbearing throughout their entire teenage lives. That's just how it goes. That's not how you parent a child correctly. Being overbearing doesn't create a healthy relationship with your child. It does the opposite. And the last picture. Now I want to warn you before we start this one, if you are currently eating, maybe stop eating or tune off this video. If you don't like gross things, this one's a little bit gross. Been getting a lot of hate recently from other parents about how apparently I don't take good care of my child. It really pisses me off, to be honest. The fact the rumors have gotten so bad to the point where I've gotten 3 letters from his elementary school explaining their concerns over his personal hygiene. Excuse me, but what the f*** does that have to do with anyone? I'll get it out here in the open so everyone can shut the f*** up finally. I give my son a bath once every 3 weeks because guess what? That's all a 7-year-old needs. Excuse me for not wanting to damage his skin and dry it out with harmful soaps. Those complaining about his smell or marks on his clothes are clearly deluded and just trying to start drama. Pathetic if you ask me. If you have a problem with how I raise my child, then come to me. Ran over. Now they did come to you. They sent you 3 letters. But a child needs to be washed more than once every 3 weeks. 3 weeks is how regularly you wash your child? That is disgusting. Marks on his clothes and people complaining about his smell? Yeah, he gets washed once every 3 weeks. You're scared about harmful soaps drying out his skin? You can get soaps that are literally targeted for use on children so they don't dry out their skin. Do you know what 7-year-olds do every day? They run around getting really sweaty in the sun, running through the park with their friends. They roll about in the mud. They play with bugs. They do all kinds of gross stuff. I know I did when I was a kid. Everything was gross that a 7-year-old does. Washing him once every 3 weeks is disgusting. And saying what does that have to do with anyone? Sorry, but your son isn't going to be as conscious about his own hygiene as everyone around him is. There are people that absolutely reek and don't know they do, and it's everybody around them that has to deal with the fact. Just look at conventions, you know? Just look at smokers. Smokers smell disgusting, and they don't seem to be conscious of the fact because they're smokers. But everyone around them has to deal with the fact that this person smells like gross cigarettes. It's the same with your 7-year-old child. You might not notice how disgusting he smells, but that's because you're around him every day. Everyone else has to deal with the fact that they have to sit sit next to this gross, smelly, stained child all day. And that's awful. Wash your child more than once every 3 weeks. Oh, that's where I'm gonna end the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you want to support me and support my content, I have a Patreon in the description below, or you can hit that join button. It helps me a lot more than you might realize. Other than that, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.